Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and felt like you were already behind on life? Like the day rushed in before you even had a chance to take a breath? You're not lazy. You're not lost. You're just stuck in a rhythm that wasn't designed for the person you're becoming. And guess what? That's fixable. This isn't another productivity lecture, and I'm not here to guilt trip you into waking up at 5 a.m. This is about something deeper, something ancient and timeless that still works in our noisy, fast-paced world. It's about taking the first hour of your day and using it as a launch pad, not a battlefield. Because the way you start your morning, it doesn't just set the tone for your day, it reshapes your entire life. Inspired by Stoic philosophy, but adapted for modern minds like yours, we're diving into morning habits that aren't just about ticking boxes. They're about building a version of you that feels calm, clear, and completely in charge. No fluff, no hustle hype. Just real strategies to help you take your mornings and your mindset back. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start living on your terms, keep watching. This might just be the turning point you've been looking for. Let's be real. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for a perfect sunrise in the middle of a thunderstorm. It might show up, but you never know when. And it's definitely not reliable. And yet, most of us treat our mornings like a roll of the dice. Maybe I'll feel inspired today. Maybe I'll get up early. Maybe I'll start fresh. That's not a plan. That's a gamble. The truth? Motivation is a mood, and moods are slippery. But a ritual? That's power. A morning ritual isn't about discipline in the scary military sense. It's about designing a rhythm so familiar, so grounded, that it guides you even on the days you feel like doing absolutely nothing. Especially on those days. Think about your brain in the morning. It's vulnerable, sensitive, still waking up. If you leave it up to chance or your emotions, you're handing the wheel to a half-asleep version of yourself. A ritual says, I've got this. I know where I'm going, even if I don't feel like it yet. It's your built-in compass before the noise kicks in. The magic isn't in doing something dramatic or complex. It could be as simple as lighting a candle, stretching for 2 minutes, or making your bed while playing a playlist that tells your brain, we're starting now. That consistency becomes a form of self-respect. It tells your future self, you matter enough for me to show up. Rituals aren't about perfection. They're about presence. You don't need to do them flawlessly. You just need to do them often enough that your body and mind know what's next without needing motivation to drag you there. So, next time you feel stuck, don't look for motivation. Build a ritual. Build your anchor. That's how you show up. Not just once, but every single day. Your first breath of the day shouldn't come with a notification. But for so many of us, the moment we open our eyes, we also open our inbox, our social feed, our mental floodgates. It's like inviting the entire world into your bedroom before you've even had a chance to say good morning to yourself. But here's the truth no one tells you. Silence is not empty. It's full of everything your mind needs, but only if you give it space to speak. Starting your day in silence isn't just a nice idea. It's a neurological reset. It's your brain's opportunity to catch up with your body, to align, to breathe, to begin without being bombarded by 1,000 invisible demands. Silence could be 30 seconds sitting up in bed. It could be 5 minutes sipping your coffee without a podcast or playlist or headline in your ears. It might feel strange at first, like you're missing something. But what you're actually doing is reclaiming something you've lost, your own rhythm. Your phone is a powerful tool, but it's a terrible morning companion. It doesn't care how you feel. It just wants your attention. And the minute you give it, you're no longer in charge of your own energy. You've become reactive, not reflective. And that shift can hijack your entire day without you even realizing it. So instead, try this. Begin your morning by doing nothing, on purpose. Not because you're lazy, but because you're wise enough to know that stillness is strength. Sit with your breath. Look at the sky. Let your thoughts wander without direction for a few minutes. You'll be shocked at how clear your mind becomes when you stop stuffing it with other people's noise. This is how you start a day with intention, not urgency. With clarity, not chaos. With yourself, not the world. Silence doesn't mean isolation. It means invitation. An invitation to hear your own thoughts before the world shouts over them. At first glance, making your bed seems like the most mundane task on earth. It takes maybe a minute, and no one else really sees it. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. Because when you make your bed, you're not doing it for applause or aesthetics. You're doing it for you. This simple act is one of the earliest chances you get each day to take control. It's not just about neat sheets and fluffed pillows. It's about sending a signal. A signal that you've decided to show up for the day, no matter what. That you're stepping into structure, even when everything else in life feels unpredictable. Think of it like this. When the first thing you do is create order in your physical space, your mind starts to follow. You're no longer passively reacting to your environment. You're actively shaping it. That's not housekeeping. That's leadership. And no, making your bed won't solve all your problems. It won't write your emails or handle your deadlines, but it will give you a small, silent win right at the start. A reminder that progress begins with presence. That intention doesn't have to be loud to be real. It can be as quiet as straightening a blanket and smoothing the corners of your morning chaos. It's also about identity. Each time you make your bed, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. Disciplined, intentional, grounded. Over time, those votes add up. And without realizing it, you start becoming that person, one sheet tuck at a time. In a world obsessed with the big moves and dramatic changes, this is your rebellion. Choosing to honor the little things. Choosing to begin with care, even when no one's watching. Because that's when it really counts. So tomorrow morning, when you're tempted to skip it, remember, it's not just a bed, it's a message. And that message is, I'm in charge here. Some people start their day with a to-do list. Others scroll for dopamine hits. But what if instead, you started your morning by checking in with your soul? That's the magic of the 3-minute clarity journal. It's not about writing a novel or pouring out your heart in paragraphs. It's about creating just enough space to get honest with yourself before the world floods in with noise and opinions. It's fast, it's simple, and it's life-changing. All you need is a blank page, 3 lines, and a moment of stillness. First, ask yourself, what actually matters today? Not what's urgent. Not what's on someone else's agenda. Just what matters to you. The second line, what is in my control? Because there's no better way to reclaim your peace than by filtering out the chaos you can't influence. And finally, write down one thing you're grateful for. That last line is your anchor. Your reminder that no matter what happens today, you're already standing on solid ground. This isn't productivity porn. It's not a hack. It's a habit of self-awareness. It reminds you that you are a person, not a machine. That you're allowed to slow down. That clarity is more powerful than speed. And when you do this consistently, something shifts. You stop waking up into reaction mode. You stop letting other people's energy hijack yours. You begin to lead your day instead of chasing it. You become less anxious, more intentional, and way more centered, even on the messiest mornings. Think of this journal as your daily mental compass. You don't need perfect grammar, pretty handwriting, or a leather-bound notebook. You just need the willingness to be real with yourself for 3 minutes. That's it. 3 honest lines, and your entire day walks straighter. We've been taught that discipline means pushing harder, grinding longer, and punishing ourselves every time we slip. But what if discipline didn't have to feel like a war? What if it could feel like a friendship? A quiet, consistent commitment to who you're becoming? This is the heart of soft discipline. It's not lazy, and it's definitely not weak. It's the kind of strength that doesn't shout. The kind that shows up anyway, even when motivation is missing and perfection is nowhere in sight. It's the decision to follow through with care, not cruelty. Soft discipline starts with compassion. Instead of dragging yourself out of bed with guilt, you invite yourself to rise with purpose. You trade the inner critic for an inner coach, someone who nudges you forward without tearing you down. That voice doesn't say you have to, it says you get to. And that shift, it changes everything. You don't build habits by bullying yourself. You build them by showing up consistently, even in the smallest ways. One mindful breath, one glass of water, one moment where you choose calm over chaos. And when you slip, and you will, you don't spiral. You reset, gently. Because real growth doesn't come from punishment. It comes from presence. Soft discipline is choosing alignment over aggression. It's reminding yourself of your why every morning, not to pressure yourself, but to reconnect with what matters. It's allowing effort to feel kind, not cruel, steady, not spiked with guilt or fear. And the best part? Soft discipline is sustainable because it honors your humanity. It flows with the seasons of your energy. It knows that your worth isn't measured by productivity alone. You are allowed to rest and still be disciplined. You are allowed to struggle and still be committed. So next time you hear that harsh voice telling you to do more, go faster, be better, pause. Then respond with something softer, wiser, and more honest. Remind yourself, discipline isn't about control. It's about care. And when you practice it gently, you don't just change your habits. You change your relationship with yourself. We're always told to visualize success, see the dream, feel the win, manifest the moment. And sure, that's powerful. But life isn't just highlight reels and gold medals. It's also missed alarms, tough conversations, and unexpected detours. If all you ever picture is the victory lap, the first stumble can knock the wind out of you. That's where challenge visualization steps in, not to scare you, but to strengthen you. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. It's rehearsing how you'll respond when the day doesn't go according to plan. Because let's be real, some mornings your motivation will be missing, your mind will be foggy, your plans will fall apart. And if you've never mentally stood in that moment before, you'll be more likely to fold instead of adapt. But when you've already walked through the hard stuff in your mind, when you've visualized yourself calmly resetting after hitting snooze or breathing through anxiety before a big call, your brain doesn't panic. It performs. You don't flinch. You adjust. Think of it as emotional resilience training. You're not just building confidence in your best case scenario. You're building courage for your worst case moments. You're learning to expect resistance and still show up anyway. And here's the twist. This kind of visualization actually increases your appreciation for the present. When you imagine losing something, a routine, a relationship, even a quiet morning, you realize just how valuable it is. You stop taking the simple stuff for granted. You start waking up with a little more gratitude and a lot more grit. This is what the ancient Stoics called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. But in modern life, it's simply mental armor. You're not wishing for bad days. You're just becoming the kind of person who knows how to meet them when they come. So tomorrow, as you plan your morning, don't just ask, "What do I want to achieve?" Ask also, "What could challenge me? And how will I respond?" That's not fear talking. That's foresight. That's strength. That's real, grounded confidence. The kind that doesn't vanish when things get messy. Some people wake up because they have to. You know the feeling. Alarm blaring, eyes barely open, and your first thought is not again. But imagine this. What if your mornings didn't start with dread, but with desire? What if you actually looked forward to waking up? That's the quiet superpower of having something, even one small thing, you truly love to wake up for. It doesn't need to be a life-changing mission or your forever purpose. It just needs to be meaningful enough to pull you gently out of bed. This isn't about pressure. It's about permission. Permission to start your day with something that lights you up, not just something that weighs you down. Maybe it's 5 minutes of drawing before work. Maybe it's writing one page in a story no one else has read yet. Maybe it's stepping outside to feel the sunlight on your skin, or sipping your coffee in silence before the world even notices you're awake. Whatever it is, it matters. Because when you wake up for something you love, you're no longer dragging yourself into the day. You're being pulled forward by purpose, even if it's a quiet, gentle kind. This is what the Japanese call ikigai, your reason for being. But in this version, we're keeping it simple. Think of it as ikigai light. It doesn't have to be perfect, profitable, or profound. It just has to be personal. Something that brings joy, or peace, or presence. Something that whispers, "This moment is worth showing up for." The beauty of this approach is that it redefines productivity. You're not rushing into your day to prove anything. You're entering it from a place of connection with yourself, your values, your little joys. And ironically, that's when you become the most focused, the most energized, the most alive. So tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself one simple question. What can I wake up for tomorrow that makes me feel more like me? That's not selfish. That's smart. That's sustainable. That's how you build a morning that doesn't just start your day, but fuels your life. Your phone is not your enemy, but it's definitely not your friend in the first hour of your day. The moment you unlock it, you're no longer waking up with yourself. You're waking up with the rest of the world. Notifications, opinions, algorithms, expectations, and all of that hits you before you've even had a chance to take your first conscious breath. Keeping your morning screen free isn't about being anti-tech. It's about being pro-you. It's about giving your brain space to remember who you are before everyone else tells you who to be. Because the truth is, your attention is one of the most valuable things you own. And the first 60 minutes of your day are prime real estate. Would you really hand that over to ads, comparison traps, and digital noise? Instead, imagine what could happen in that hour if it belonged entirely to you. You could read one chapter of a book that shifts your mindset. You could write down your intentions without being shaped by headlines. You could simply sit in silence and allow your thoughts to form before the internet hijacks your perspective. The point isn't to make mornings perfect. It's to make them yours. And if that means turning your phone face down, leaving it in another room, or setting it on airplane mode until a certain time, so be it. Boundaries aren't restrictions. They're self-respect in action. When you delay the digital rush, you stretch time. You give your mind a buffer zone. You start the day with your own values, not the world's agenda. You remind yourself that attention is a resource, and you're finally choosing how to spend it. Consciously, calmly, and with intention. And here's the thing. Nothing urgent ever crumbles in 60 minutes. The emails can wait. The comments can wait. The algorithm can wait. But your peace of mind, that can't. That's sacred. That's the fuel for everything else. So give yourself that first hour. Make it sacred. Fill it with what truly matters. Not because you should, but because you deserve to begin your day on your terms, not someone else's feed. You don't have to hit the gym at 6 a.m. You don't need a six-pack, a yoga mat, or a workout playlist with 120 beats per minute. What you need, what your brain is begging you for, is movement. Not for aesthetics, not for calories, but for clarity. Your body holds the key to your mind's focus. It's wired that way. When you move, even gently, you activate systems designed to help you feel more alert, more grounded, more present. Movement isn't a punishment. It's a wake-up call to your nervous system. It says, hey, we're here, let's start. And this doesn't need to be a 45-minute sweat session. It could be stretching in silence, walking barefoot on your balcony, dancing to one song in your kitchen like no one's watching, because no one is. It could be rolling your shoulders, doing 5 push-ups, or standing tall and just breathing with intention. The point isn't performance. It's presence. It's using movement as a bridge from the fog of sleep to the light of awareness. You're not chasing a body goal here. You're chasing alignment between your breath, your posture, your attention. Some of your best ideas, most creative thoughts, and clearest decisions won't come when you're staring at a screen. They'll come mid-step, mid-sway, mid-stretch, when your body is in motion and your mind is allowed to roam freely without the usual digital noise. So don't think of movement as something you have to do. Think of it as a gift you get to give yourself, a secret ritual between your mind and your muscles, a way to say, I'm awake now, and I'm ready. And here's the beauty. The more often you do it, the less resistance you'll feel. Your body will start craving that motion. your mind will start relying on it. And suddenly, moving won't be something you have to remember. It'll be something you can't imagine skipping. This is how you shift your mornings from groggy to grounded, not through punishment, through presence, through movement, through rhythm. It's not a workout, it's a wake-up. Every day is a cycle, and how you close one determines how you'll enter the next. But most of us treat the end of the day like a crash landing, mind exhausted, body on autopilot, falling into bed with a head full of unfinished thoughts and unchecked notifications. Then we wonder why mornings feel like battles. But there's another way, a slower, softer exit from the day, one that doesn't just put you to sleep, but sets you up for a stronger tomorrow. Because here's the truth, your morning doesn't begin when your alarm goes off. It begins the night before. Ending the day with your future self in mind is an act of alignment. It's not about routines filled with pressure or perfection. It's about little rituals that say, I've got your back, tomorrow me. Maybe that's laying out your clothes. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you want to focus on. Maybe it's simply turning off your phone and stepping away from the noise so your nervous system can finally exhale. When you take a few moments at night to reflect, reset, and recenter, you're sending a message to your brain. We're closing the loop. You're not dragging the chaos of today into tomorrow. You're clearing space for clarity, for calm, for something better to arrive. This is more than productivity. This is self-respect in practice. Future you isn't just a concept. It's a person who will wake up tomorrow and either thank you or wish you had done a little more prep. And no, we're not talking hustle. We're talking care. Care that carries forward. And the bonus? Your sleep deepens. Your thoughts slow down. You no longer wake up feeling like you're behind before you even start. Because you built a runway, not just for rest, but for intention. And that intention becomes momentum. Quiet, powerful, unstoppable momentum. So tonight, don't just collapse into your bed. Land there, gently, with purpose. Dim the lights. Tidy the space. Take one last breath of gratitude. Write one note for the next day. And trust that when you honor the end, you're already changing the beginning. You don't have to flip your life upside down to feel different. You don't need a perfect routine, a rigid schedule, or a dramatic reinvention. What you need, what we all need, is presence, intention. That quiet decision to meet your mornings with more clarity than chaos, more rhythm than rush. These habits aren't about impressing anyone. They're not viral hacks or productivity flexes. They're tools. Tools to help you return to yourself in a world that constantly pulls you away. Tools to ground your mind, calm your nervous system, and remind you that the first hour of your day is sacred, not because it's trendy, but because it's yours. And here's the truth most people miss. It's not the one big moment that changes your life. It's the accumulation of small, deliberate ones. Choosing to get up with purpose. Choosing to move your body. Choosing to write one honest sentence. Choosing to make your bed, not because you have to, but because it reminds you who you're becoming. There will be days when it's messy, when you forget, when you snooze. That's okay. Because this journey isn't about perfection. It's about returning to what matters. Returning to routines that respect your energy. Returning to yourself again and again. If even one part of this video sparked something in you, an idea, a shift, a sense of, yes, I want that, then take it. Try it. Live it. Let it evolve. These mornings aren't about fixing you. They're about honoring you. And if you found value here, share it. Not just by clicking a button, but by embodying it. Let the people around you feel the ripple effect of a calmer, more intentional you. That's how change spreads. That's how we all rise. So whether tomorrow starts at 5 a.m. or 9 a.m., whether you journal or simply sit in silence, whether you stretch or just breathe, let it be your start. Because you deserve a life that begins with care, not chaos. And it all begins with how you choose to rise